Okay, everybody, it is Tuesday. You don't know how close I came to, oh, wait a second. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. There we go. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Hello, everybody, it's Tuesday, it's Brian. It is the BreakSec Education Podcast. It was I don't want to say it was hard to hit the button to start streaming, but my day has it's been okay. I mean, we're heading into a short work week. So U.S. Labor Day for those of you not aware of the bank holiday coming up. But yeah, I have somebody, friend of mine, who said, hey, you'd be good for a job, and suggested the job description to me. And I read the job description. I think I can do everything on that list except like one bullet. And if any of the people that I work with happen to be watching, my apologies. It is what it is. Always looking for a different opportunities or different ways to make impact. So you can talk to me offline if you'd like. But yeah, so hey, Walt, back from Scotland. How was Scotland, Walt? How was Scotland? Did you enjoy it? I was supposed to be heading back over there in a couple of weeks, but that changed. So hope you had an enjoyable time in Scotland. Got to see Loch Ness and all that. But anyway, so I was looking at my job description for this job, and it's great. I mean, it sounds fantastic. The problem is I'm not young anymore, and our family's not young anymore, and the ability for me to just, pick up and move to another organization is not as flexible as it used to be. And it's difficult to take another job, especially one that is a startup, because for some folks there's still this stigma that a startup is, here today, could be gone tomorrow. And so trying to figure out what my next move is. If it's, I'll go ahead and continue the interview process, which I actually know the hiring manager, ironically enough, but it's a friend of mine who works for the hiring manager, and I know the hiring manager too. So the offices are not in San Diego. They do offer flexible work arrangements, but I don't know if that would be like you're going to fly a lot to the satellite offices or what have you. Of course, it's, convincing everybody that it's a good organization, and that, and actually trying to convince myself that it's a good organization, I think is part of the deal as well. So Walt says he rented an AMG E200, nice ride. GPS was crappy compared to Google Maps. I would just use Google Maps. I mean, I had no problem. I mean, well, I have a new iPhone, or a Pixel 9, but GPS and Google Maps worked very well for me in Dublin, at least. Your mileage may vary, I guess, in Scotland, in the larger parts, but Jesus. Okay, I'm getting blown up with discussions all of a sudden. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's like, you want to move for different opportunities, or to be able to make impact, or hey, somebody said this is a good company to go work at. Trying to toe that line now, especially with the family scenario, is more tenuous than it used to be. So I may be stuck at my current job for the near future, or until layoffs happen and they kick me out, which will mean I may, lose that other job opportunity, but I'll be able to take whatever job I can get. So we switched to CarPlay and Apple Maps. Oh, okay. Huh. We switched car. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never used Apple Maps, so I have no frame of reference on whether or not that's a good map system or not. And I don't use CarPlay, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the experience for Google Maps on an iDevice is. So that's interesting. It's kind of like when I use my Lenovo computer with Windows 11 to play PlayStation, to play Super Nintendo games with a PlayStation controller. It's like there's a whole bunch of so it's a whole mess of things there. I've been remiss recently in not mentioning people. So B7H30, thank you for following. Astro Kate, thank you for following. Of course, GoPro Slow-Yo for a community gift of subbing up. Whooping you, thank you for the hydrate. Dang you 5 following, of course. Helgore, thank you for following. Reg Foxworth also following. Got a lot of new followers in the last month or so. English back roads are tiny, sometimes just one lane, no shoulders. Yeah, I've seen The Holiday. It's an older movie. Yeah, I mean, they're not so much different than like wagon, just 2 ruts in the road and you just kind of stick in the way there. I don't drive in Scotland. Do they drive on the other side of the road? I'm going to say wrong. Do they drive on the other side of the road? Is it opposite to the United States? Or do they drive? I guess if I had paid attention on the bus tours that we went on, I seem to remember that they were on the U.S. side of the road, which would have been for us the right side of the road. So we'd have been driving like this instead of like this. Or, yeah, whatever. Signs say 40 to 60 miles. Yeah, I know some of them, some of them still use miles instead of kilometers up there, and mile per hour instead of kph. So should be right at home. I think the only thing that they do use universally is Celsius instead of Fahrenheit for temperatures. So you can't go wrong knowing 20 degrees is 68 F. So Scotland, other side of the road. Okay, all right. Yeah, I figured as much. I took a bus tour when we were in Edinburgh and went to Loch Ness, and I can't for the life of me remember, probably too enamored with the landscape and stuff, but it was trying to remember which side of the road they were driving on. So, yeah. So, how's everyone doing? We're gonna be doing some malware, with Jeff's videos and stuff like that. So we're gonna keep working through some of those items. And country road would be 25 in the States. Signs say 40 to 60 miles on a country road. That'd be 25 in the States. Okay. So I was looking at some news, and so there's been, I have an unhealthy, I don't want to say an unhealthy, I have an interest in the education area of information security in terms of, the dynamic there. And I think we've talked about that with several people in the past when we did the audio podcast about the difficulties of securing educational environments. It's probably the most hostile network because your users are actively trying to get around your security controls, i.e. the kids who have laptops or what have you. And then you've got bad guys who are just trying to come in and take the kids' information and use it to open up credit cards and to commit fraud and have breaches because it's a very lucrative business. According to Dark Reading, so when I read the article's title, I was like, great, but so it says 77% of educational institutions spotted cyber attack within the last 12 months. I think it's heartening that they recognize that it is an attack. And what the hell is going on with my shirt? What? Oh, my green screen is very close in color to my shirt. Okay, that's the problem. Okay. I'm kind of like Casper the Friendly Ghost and shit over here with this. Yes. Anyway, so they interviewed 1,300 odd IT and security professionals who work in the education sector. Of those 1,300, 77% have spotted a cyber attack. Now, the joke is, well, the other 25% don't know what a cyber attack looks like, or they legitimately have not been attacked. Okay. The fact that, now they say that they spotted a cyber attack. Did they do anything about it? What was the response mechanisms look like? Did they have the budget to make the fixes? Because one of the things they mentioned here is, incidents can reveal security gaps like excessive privileges, dormant accounts, weak or unchanged passwords or default passwords or configs, unpatched systems due to negligence or lack of knowledge. Fixing the gap might not require additional money, but will require security team time, which is probably as good as money in many cases. Your IT probably your IT is also your IT security team in some cases, do not have a ton of time. And when they have other projects that are very important, fixing these things are somewhat painful. So being able to prioritize or embracing automation for remediation steps potentially is very important. But yeah, so half of the 77%, I'm assuming when they say almost half of the 47%, because I'm assuming they're not including the 23% that didn't, couldn't recognize that there was a cyber attack or have never been attacked. Unplanned expenses. And I think that's telling as well. They don't have the budget for it in this case. So an unplanned expense would be something that, they have to buy a new license of something, or they have to invest in new computers, or bring in outside consultants or IR teams to come in and help with staff augmentation or actually run the incident themselves. Also, they say 1 in 7 organizations incur compliance fines. So that's an unplanned expense as well. Oh, we didn't secure our stuff. So not only do we have to pay for, new kit, new licenses, new software, training, etc., but we also have to pay $30,000 in fines that it's going to have to come from somewhere, right? General fund, sorry, teacher, you're not going to be teaching this year because we can't secure our shit. But yeah, I'm gonna shut my door. Just 1 second. It's really weird. It's like, you can actually see through my shirt. Okay. I have these French doors that slide. That is creepy. I'll have to remember that when I wear this shirt. My doors slide shut like this, not open up and close and whatever. So anyway, there's a lot of fluff in the article. It's only a 2-minute read, to be honest. And NetRICS, of course, is digital solutions and safeguards or whatever. See, longer-term remediation may have to wait for the next budget cycle and require additional software services engagement or headcount. Yeah, that's true. They won't get headcount. As we've found out with a lot of educational services, every IT person that you have is a teacher or two that you're not going to have to teach children. So they tend to only hire teachers, or they bring in a consultant, or they'll bring in somebody temporary. That may not be necessarily the case everywhere, but some of my friends who work in that space, that's pretty much the fact of life, right? So, yeah. It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. So there's CIS Top 20. or now they're 18. Sorry, they used to be 20, now they're 18 because they've consolidated some shit. They've added a few things. What I found interesting, and we've looked at these several times when they were the old Sans top 20, and everything started out with inventory and control of asset, enterprise assets, software assets, data protection, account management, access controls. The one thing I found that a lot of the bits in the inventory talk about, and you're going to have to buy the doc, I think, because CIS wants to make money off of this. There are several things in here, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to take forever to do these things. Some of these things are long-term value, and I think that's what we forget to think about when we're looking. Damn it. Okay, when we're looking at these things. These are not things you're going to solve overnight. They're going to be things that you're going to want to work on all the time. And it's not, these don't, it's like, oh, okay, now we've done control 1, now we need to go to control 2. Some of these things will, as you complete these controls, will kind of fill in, right? And, their long-term value, which companies are going to want to see something immediately. And what you're going to kind of need to stress if you're in IT or in security and you're wanting to be somewhat holistic or systematic about these things is these are long-term value adds that will pay. I don't want to say pay dividends because I just learned about dividends. They're not all that good, but they pay it forward as you go on, because with care and maintenance of your enterprise assets catalog or your software assets catalog, you're going to be able to better identify in an incident or in, with data protection mechanisms, you're going to be able to better and faster diagnosis and management of things like incidents, or be able to respond better to those incidents. By saying, okay, how many times have you run an incident and you're like, I don't know who to contact. I don't know, how to get a hold of that person. I don't know what the SOP is for that. Why are they doing it like this? And a lot of those things in the top 4 here is like secure configuration of assets and software, inventory and control of software assets. So I'm not talking like bill of materials, even though that would be nice, but it's just like, what do you got running in your environment? You've got Windows, and that's everything underneath it, assuming you've got kind of a default build. If you're running Windows, you're probably running Office. If you're running Office, then you're probably running Azure or Active Directory or something like that. If you have a Linux, then you've got Debian or Ubuntu, or you're using Alpine Linux or whatever. Just understanding what those things are and having an understanding of the controls and the configurations in place. Here's our SSH server. Why is our SSH server doing this? Because the configuration says why. Obviously something is off here. I do find it interesting that logging, the first time they start talking about logging, is almost halfway through the controls. For me, that would be like one of the first things, but again, it all builds upon one another. You have to have your assets in place. You have to be able to identify where those assets are. Then you're going to need to have some way to take all of the information from all of your assets and put them into a centralized logging system. And then you start looking at the logs, but everything builds on that. But everything isn't sequential. You can run multiple things in, order, or you can say, well, if we do this, it will take care of these controls, 1 and 2 and 5. Data protection, can be done with this, and we'll also, manage, 3, 5, and 6 are all the same system, or we'll be using the same system, that kind of thing. You don't want a latch key or a specific solution for everything. So anyway, I'm just, if you've never seen the CIS control list before, or you're new to that, which I know Walt is not. Walt is, Walt's been in the trenches with folks like that. But I did find this interesting. I actually found this kind of heartening because I don't know what it was like a year ago. I don't know what it was, 2 years ago. If it's 77 and it was 90 before and now it's only 77, that could be bad. But the fact that educational institutions now have, it feels like that the IT security and the IT folks are finally starting to pick up and understand. I'm sure they always have understood it, but they're finally maybe getting the tools, or they're getting motivated to secure their environment in a more secure manner. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so this was kind of interesting. So if you work in the educational space, I would love to hear your experiences. I think they get a rough go at it. I think hospitals and educational institutions get a rough go at it. I think it's because they're so focused on one thing. In this case, teach your child, or we're here to save lives. They lived with, I don't know, I don't want to say, is it cognitive dissonance? Is that what I'm thinking of? Okay, so in some ways that would be the case. It'd be like, why would they want to hack us? We're a hospital. We're here to help people. Why would they want to do something like that? We're a school. Why would people want to hack us? We don't have anything of value, And when people start hitting things like hospitals, it's not cognitive dissonance, but it's like, it fucks with their mindset. It fucks with their worldview. They think, oh, we're untouchable because we're the Red Cross, or we're Doctors Without Borders, or we're, whatever. So it does mess with their worldview a little bit, and probably makes them a little sad. So, but yeah. So, but it's good to see that at least they can spot a cyber attack. Now maybe we can get some numbers on what is being blunted or not hit anymore, or how many cyber attacks last year were blunted by whatever. So I don't get political a lot on here, but I thought this one was kind of interesting. This is from NPR. And Meta, apparently, there has been some news about Iranian hackers. I think it was APT42. I want to say it was APT42. This is fairly light on the details, I believe. Let me see, APT42 elections. Google B-log. Yeah. So I actually read this one first, and then I found the NPR article. But so TAG, which is the threat analysis group from Google, had shared some insights on APT42, an Iranian government-backed threat actor, and their targeted phishing campaign against Israel and Israeli targets. But they're also hitting high-profile users in Israel and the U.S., including government officials, NGOs, academic institutions that contribute to foreign policy conversations. And so they're ramping up, obviously, because there's a conflict in the Middle East with Israel and then the Palestinians and the Hamas, and so associated with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IGRC. And yeah, they've 60% of in the past 6 months, U.S. and Israel accounted for 60% of APT42's known geographic targeting. So yeah, they're definitely ramping things up. They're trying to sow dissension or gain access to information that might be helpful to them, or to create mis or disinformation campaigns. So yeah, look, hitting the UK, they're hitting others. So others, 29% is others. So that may be France, or it could be other Five Eyes countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, other countries like that. But yeah, we're the between Israel and the United States, we're the lion's share of that. And you can see where they're, it's interesting, the distinct target users. Email phishing apparently still very useful and helpful. Hosting malware, phishing pages, malicious redirects. But yeah, so it's a good write-up on that. I read this one on my work computer, which is why I didn't have that on there until I just looked it up. But so they have another Iranian hacking group. They don't mention if this is part of APT42, but most things in Iran are IGRC based. So they are hitting not only the administrations of our current U.S. President, Joe Biden, and President Donald Trump, but also the Kamala Harris and Walt's campaign people. So they're doing that. Obviously they're trying to shape the outcome of November's vote. If you can spread disinformation and get one voter to not vote for the party they were going to vote for, or to switch their votes in some way, it really would depend on how they're leaning, right? If they're just saying don't vote at all, or if it's like, hey, one party is awful and go vote for them, or they could be switching it up. They're saying, just trying to, muddy the waters to where somebody's like, I don't want to vote for either one of them because both parties suck. But the fact that Meta is starting to crack down on some of the targeting, hopefully that means ads as well. They're trying to, stop targeted ads or targeted WhatsApp accounts, So I think we'll see more of that. This is not the last time we're going to see this. We have about, 65-ish days left until our U.S. elections here. Get out and vote. Think about what if you're U.S., make sure you're not, things that are sensational. It's just like a phishing campaign, right? Can't believe what happened here. Click on this link and whatever. You're going to have to put your critical thinking hat on. Doesn't matter which party you're affiliated with. It's just put your critical thinking hat on, and it's in the wording, it's in how they try to serve this up to you, it's in how they want you to click on the links, it's how they are trying to, sell whatever it is they're trying to do, influence operations, right? But yeah, this won't be the last one we see, I think, before the elections. It's going to ramp up. There's huge implications for us in the U.S. and for the world, depending on who wins. And so, so the Harris campaign says it was warned in July. So it's been, and not only that, the U.S. Americans are being targeted with this stuff, but then there's probably other operations trying to target the campaigns themselves, kind of like the DNC hack in 2016 that CrowdStrike found with servers being hacked and information being leaked. So the security, actually, I think I saw there was a couple of job positions. So security, I think I know somebody had posted up a job description for, I think it was the Harris Waltz campaign. No, it had to have been before that. So it was when President Biden was still in the race, and Harris was trying to hire for IT security people to help secure their networks, either because they knew they were going to be hacked, which is incredibly smart of them, or they just needed people to secure their networks, period. So it was interesting to see them hiring for that publicly in that way. So it would be interesting to see or to talk about that from a, what kind of technology are they using? Are they trying to, I'm sure they're trying to balance that based on complexity. They don't want a network that's too complex, but then, this is like, you've got satellite offices, you've got people who are, I mean, the spread is complex, right? And, you know, if you're it doesn't matter which party you're for, they're always hiring people. So it's like insider threat could be a thing. You know, how are they handling things like insider threat? How are they handling the technology stack? Are you using, you know, are they using the, you know, the easiest way would potentially be something like, you know, Azure, you know, for, you know, Azure AD or something like that. Are they using like Dropboxes? Are they using Telegram? Or speaking of Telegram, I read that one too. Telegram. So I don't use Telegram, but it's been in the news a little bit. Weird. So yeah, the CEO of Telegram was arrested. Anyway, going back to my last point. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what kind of technology stack, and maybe after the thing, we'll get some more guidance, or we'll get to see some kind of insider knowledge on what that's about. But yeah, I'd be interested in seeing what a network stack or what the IT security looks like for something like that, especially if you know your network is going to be targeted by nation state actors because they're wanting to ruin your reputation. Here, in this case, reputation is everything, right? These days, it feels like a lot of companies who get owned do not, you know, care much about that because the PR people have playbooks that, you know, help minimize that danger, like with Boeing, for instance. So to keep it neutral. So the CEO of Telegram was arrested in Paris over this weekend over allegations that his platform is being used for illicit activity, including drug trafficking and the distribution of CSAM, which is sexual abuse images of children. And so I guess he was originally born in Russia, but then decided to, you know, GTFO when everything was going south with the Russia issues. He's a citizen of France, Russia, and the Caribbean island of San Kitts and Nevis. Oh, and the United Arab Emirates. Jesus. Maybe you just pick a country, bro. I mean, 2 of those 4 is not bad. I wouldn't live in the United Arab Emirates or Russia, obviously, but France or St. Kitts and Nevis isn't a bad thing. But he was taken into custody at Paris Le Bourget Airport. It's the private airport. That's not Charles de Gaulle. But yeah, he was flying in from Azerbaijan. Because you know, that's what you do when you're a CEO. You just fly around in your plane from Azerbaijan to... French law doesn't have a version of Section 230. Section 230, he says. Let's see, Section 230. Communications Act of 1934 that was enacted as part of the Communications Decency Act of 1996, which is Title V of the Telecommunications Act of 1996 and generally provides immunity for online computer services with respect to third-party content. Ooh, I see your point. That's Section 230. So he's been arrested because I think the reason he was arrested is because the allegations are bad shit's going on Telegram, but he's been complicit and not done anything to fix it. Which... yeah, so liability. Yeah, publishers have a liability, or the people owning the platform have a responsibility to clean it up. Yeah, Telegram's group chats can have 200,000 people compared to 1,024 for WhatsApp. Experts have raised concerns that misinformation spreads easily in groups of that size. Well, no shit. I mean, the problem I've got with this is you have people, and you have people who collect in places. Yeah, so Telegram offers end-to-end encryption for comms, but contrary to popular misconception, the feature is not on by default. Users have to switch on the option It also doesn't work with group chats. So yeah. So if you're not talking one-on-one to people, your group chats are, I'd say, largely unencrypted, which I think some people didn't necessarily realize that, or expected there to be some kind of protections in place, which might bode interesting if Telegram was to hand over the chat logs from really large, chats of, Nazis or white supremacists, or IP addresses of people sharing CSAM material or what have you. Telegram has nearly 1 billion active users, and it is widely used in France as a messaging tool, including by some officials in the presidential palace. Ooh. But it is also used by Islamic extremists and drug traffickers. So I don't want to say, I'm not trying to defend Telegram in any way, shape, or form, but every social media platform has bad shit on it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Telegram. He will be tried and or convicted, and weird things will happen with Telegram. So I don't use it. So, I mean, not saying it's good or bad. Wait, do I actually use it? Do I have it installed on my phone? What do I have? I use something. Let me see. Oh, no, I got Telegram. What do I use Telegram for? See, there you go. See, I had no idea. All right, there you go. Oh, okay. So the and the Russian military. Yeah, that was the other thing, right? I think I saw a news story. Russian military, Ukraine. We're not getting political, folks. It's just that's the shit that's happening. Telegram. Let me see. Yeah. So Russians do everything via Telegram. Upends Kremlin military comms. Although Durov publicly distances himself from Moscow, his platform has become vital for Russian army coordination in the Ukraine. So, there's a whole... I'm imagining there's a Telegram group called, Get Kyiv, and it's just a bunch of Russian generals in there talking about where they need to go and what they need to do. If it's not encrypted in any way, I mean, I imagine there's some kind of invitation that has to happen to be able to join. The only groups that I'm involved with on Telegram is our Die Hard Bolts Club, which is our San Diego Chargers fan club that we're members of. But I actually thought it was on something else. I thought it was on WhatsApp. But and I think we use WhatsApp when we're on cruise ships. That way we can contact one another. So, interesting. I didn't know it was. See, to show you how much I use it, there is currently 2,308 messages in our chat list that I have yet to actually look at, of just shit that people are posting in the chat, because I just don't give a shit about the group like that. So, I mean, they're still scrolling. I mean, it's got memes and all kinds of shit in it. But yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to... Here, you can take a look at that article as well. Just FYI, Sundar is giving a talk on encryption at the next CSEC East at Black Lodge. Hey, Digital Warhead, how you doing? Sundar, Krishnamurthy, a good friend of ours. This is Sundar. That is not Sundar. Different Sundar. Damn it. There he is. That's him. Yeah, that's Sundar. He's good people. I've known him for a few years now. He's spoken to B-Side San Diego, or B-Side Seattle a couple times. Excellent human being. If you have a chance to go and check, there's no way in hell he knows that guy. Wow, how does he know that guy? Sorry, I'm not Sean Henry. It's just another couple of folks on there. But yeah, Excellent. Black Lodge, when is CSEC East? It's first Wednesday of the month. Have y'all changed the times, dates, whatever? If that's the case, then it would be on the 4th. Am I incorrect there, Digital Warhead, the 4th of September? CSEC East. No. CSEC East is the organization that we started up in Seattle for meetups. There's a Discord for it. Here we go. Yeah, that's old. Yeah, there we go. Still first, okay. The 4th of September, all right. If I didn't give you all the Twitter handle of that, I need to probably turn that over, but I'm pretty sure I did. But we'll find out. Yeah, I definitely need to do that. Cool. Yeah, so if you're in Seattle, I don't know if they'll be streaming it, but Sundar's a good speaker, so go check him out on that. It's interesting that a lot of people use various things to communicate, and there's a lot of maybe assumptions that they are concerned about those kinds of things. I can't imagine using Telegram. I mean, I don't want to say they have cell phones or military comms, but I mean it's just weird that they would have they would use Telegram for that. So it's just nuts. Recruiting agents and people for counter activities. A popular campaign to recruit people would burn Ukrainian military cars, and it's quite successful. Yeah, just really weird. Just really weird. So, yeah, so he's been arrested. He's not been charged. He will be held for questioning. My guess is there's going to be some questioning, and maybe he'll get a lighter sentence if he helps out with some of the turnover of logs or what have you from, being able to identify things. I'm not saying he would identify, Russian military assets or military channels, but being the CEO, he would have probably the keys to the kingdom to be able to decrypt things or to comply with authorization or lawful order from law enforcement to be able to turn over logs or to turn over IP addresses or to turn over information. Were I him, I mean, I don't know how bad French prisons are, but I'd be singing like Canary, but that's just me. Anywho, I know some of you are here, Brian, stop talking about news. Let's get to the malware stuff. So I am on the malwares. If you're interested, I'm going past the X-worm that we were playing with the other day, and there is a suspicious document. So when you watch the video, when you go to the link in the chat or in the comments here in the GitHub, you may be wondering where the link to the sus doc is. So he talks about malware samples in the video. The suspicious document is the async rat. So I went back through and found the so that it's a file called A0BF6, and that was the one that he mentions, that Jeff mentions in the document, A0BF6. So async rat is the one that is the document, the doc for this. There we go. So I actually been going back through some of this, and it's kind of interesting. So each where is it? No. We're gonna wrap up. We're wrapping up X-worm, and we're gonna start examining macros, right? Yeah. So,
next sample. So for the next trip, let's look at this.
I'm gonna shrink this up a little bit. So the sus doc, like I said, is the worm, the async rat king one async rat,
macros. So
and
Again,
If
I
I'm
know it
blowing
just
your
won't
ears out,
assume
my
that
apologies on that.
shared for
Okay,
the
good.
time,
So
but
just
last
want to
time
make
we
sure
did
that
use
I
this.
didn't do that.
Before we open this, excuse me, let's go ahead and open command.
All right, so I have my Remnux box open. And as you can see, I was already playing around with the file. As you'll see when he goes through, he's going to take the zipped file because it's I called it susdoc, async.rat susdoc. I had it called async.rat before, but I didn't want to confuse myself. So you go in, you 7-zip. I actually did it wrong here. It's not E, it should be X, but it served its purpose to unzip the file. Because what he wants you to do is you're actually going to analyze, I don't want to say you're going to analyze malware on both machines, but you're going to, to be able to run OLE tools and things like that that can't be done over a connection, you are from time to time going to have to drop some stuff into, and you're going to have to move some infected files across your shared folder, which is going from one VM to another VM through your very, very crunchy and valuable Windows installation that is running the VMs. So you're going to use your shared folder in that way. So whenever you're moving malware, one of the things that he does tell you in the video is always zip that shit up, always put a password on it, because Windows Defender and other endpoint security solutions will unzip your zip files and look at the contents inside, which is good, but it kind of sucks. It's kind of like the same thing, when I used to when I used to work. I would suggest not doing this at home, kids, but sometimes I would send people files. And it wasn't they were big, it was like sometimes the email filters would block them, especially zip files or files that, like, if you needed to send an exe to somebody, don't let me, I'm not going to explain that why, but changing the file name to exe1 or removing the file name extension altogether sometimes gets around that. The easiest way I found to get a file delivered to somebody is just zip it and put a password on it. Because I know why, because they can't open it up to look at it, and there's some logic in there where people are like, oh, it must be legit if they put a password on it. So as a nice workaround, you put a zip file in there with the with the password in the email body. I'm sorry, I am ashamed, but yes, I have done that from time to time when I needed to send a file to somebody, like a jar file or something. It was like, just unzip it and use this file name or use this password. So it works. You get around a lot of things, including this, where it's like, I don't want Windows Defender to light off on this async rat, so I'm going to zip it up and I'm going to password on it, which is, something smells good. Oh, my wife is cooking chicken tonight. That's what it is. I feel like chicken tonight. Anyway, so yeah, I've moved the zip file over. Does Windows allow zipping with a password? I've only been able to do that with 7-zip. Let me see. You might be right there, Digital. Let me right click. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Zip. Yeah, I don't see. I think Windows doesn't have a formal zip kind of UI. So yeah, if you're going to do that, go old school and get WinRAR or 7-zip in this case, or there's also something like PZip, PEA-zip is another one that's fairly decent. If you want to, extract RAR, tar, or zip files without using WinRAR. It will also password protect files. It also comes in a Mac OS and a Windows version, or a Linux, so you don't have to worry about cross compatibility. But yeah, 7-zip is the other one that I used for a while. you can use that one, but it only comes in a Windows platform. So if you want something that's cross-platform, or you want something that you're not worried about how it works, I would say pzip would probably be your easiest one because it has flavors for Mac OS BSD, and it does support compression and encryption and password protection. Again, your mileage may vary. Some assembly may apply. Do not remove mattress tag, etc. So make sure I don't have anybody on. Okay, good. Thank you for the 2 viewers on YouTube. So, but yeah, so he's going to go back in. So he's turning on Command Watcher and all that stuff, but he had run some OLE tools on
that LibreOffice. This one. Let's go ahead and open Command Watcher.
So I opened up the file in.
Again, this is going to get a little bit annoying probably because they're going to.
Where is it? Yeah, I opened up the file in.
Background process is going on. Like that. Microsoft Edge update.
LibreOffice. And it does ask you, hey, do you want to run macros? I said disable the macros. He does mention in the video that the macro engines for LibreOffice and Office, Microsoft Office, are slightly different. So there's some settings you have to add to get those to work out. And so, yeah, he's walking you through where if you go up to Tools, Macros, Edit Macros, I looked through it too. I'm no expert. I'm less of an expert than he is. But yeah, I couldn't find anything interesting in these. This is actually not the bits that I think he was looking at. I'm not sure if this is inside the system itself or if, let me see. Oh, do command. See, I don't know if these are macros that exist on LibreOffice to be used by LibreOffice. I'm thinking so, but this is the document that we have put into LibreOffice, and it works. I mean, you can actually see the document. So this is what it looks like. You can't click on anything because I think this is a picture. Looks like it might be a picture. Yeah, it's just a picture. So there's something embedded inside, and that's what the OLE is going to tell you, which is the different OLE stands for object linked OLE dump. Yeah, compound binary file formats, analyze the file stream. So it's OLE analyzes file streams very similar to like ADS or alternate data streams, which if you've ever taken a SANS course, you've learned about ADS for a long time. So DDA Stevens added these as part of analyzing malware. But you can go in and look in and do various things. So OLE, there's a number of tools: browse, dir, dump.py is what I ran to get this output here, which there's some interesting looking things right here. I don't know what those look like, but the fact that they're not, US American language, i.e. English, some odd characters in here is somewhat interesting. What else did he run on this script here? He said a macro popped up telling us that a macro is going to run.
Did not prevent any macros from running once we click OK on that prompt.
Right.
The other thing I said in part 1 is that LibreOffice's macro engine is slightly different from Microsoft Office's engine. And so you'll get times like this where something just won't work, or you get an error or something.
Right.
And it just is one of those things where you either fork over the money to buy Microsoft Office and put it in your malware analysis lab, or we find a workaround, which I'm going to show you what the free workaround is in just a second. First, I wanted to just show you how bad of a, typical but bad of a document this is, basically prompting the victim to enable the macro to run. And I'm going to go ahead and close Command Watcher because this macro is not going to run. Spoiler alert. and process monitor control.
That's why I didn't turn on any of the process monitor stuff. I'd already gone through at least this part of it.
Macros just to monitor for anything new coming up. Let's go ahead and close this out, and that should close all those windows.
Yep.
So what to do if we can't run this bit, and just see if we could hide what's going on here. If we open up.
It's interesting, the macros, there wasn't a lot in here that you could see. When you clicked through all these things, there wasn't anything that kind of stuck out.
To determine exactly what's going on, unless you're, unless you're a VBA master, you might know exactly what's going on here. But since I don't, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take take advantage of the use of some of these awesome tools included with the Remnix distro.
Yep.
So like I said, I do want it to demonstrate at least a few of the tools on here.
Right, so he's going to move the file over. He's going to unzip it.
One here for browsing any kind of macros and documents. So we point it at this document.
Oh yeah, OLE browse.
All the macros in Ollie browse. If we do Ollie dump on that file, it does the same kind of thing.
I broke something. I broke something here. Error exception has occurred. Python 3.8, not an OLE to structured storage file. That's really weird. Okay. I broke it. Oh, well, that's because it's not a zip file. That's right. I should have done AO. Here we go. That's a little better. All right, so select a stream or press escape to exit. So, this is very much the same output as OLE dump that we just did a little earlier. So OLE browse and OLE dump are very similar. You see comp objects. There's a table, some data, which probably is a catch-all for something. Word document about OLE browse and quit. So I don't know. Let's hex view. Oh, very cool. So you can open it up. There's a hex view for all these things. I mean, it doesn't tell me much. I don't understand the matrix like some other folks do. Oh yeah, she's cooking it in. Back to the main menu. It's kind of cool. You can do that stuff though. Windows user, normal.m matrix, Microsoft Office. Okay, so you got a bunch of stuff that, and then you can save the specific streams. New macros, hex view, project DNDOW. You can look at the various strings in here. I'm not saying you're going to find anything, I'd imagine. It does tell you which strings. Here's sub, auto open, invoke fun, C, forject. Interesting. Move left unit, character. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Anyway, so he doesn't find anything.
VBA
right.
On that file. It gives us a nice little breakdown of what's going on here, and it kind of calls out some interesting features like function names, stuff like that. Run when the document is open. So we can use all of those to determine if a document has a malicious macro. But what do we do if we know it has a malicious macro and we just want to analyze it?
Right.
Well, there's a wonderful tool called Viper Monkey on Remnix.
Viper Monkey. Okay. So vmonkey. Excuse me. So oh, nice ASCII art. Here you got Viper Monkey. Okay. Excuse me.
And what we want to do is actually give it a file, but I just wanted to show you the basic.
So vmonkey A0B
is a specialized engine to parse, analyze, and interpret Microsoft VBA macros for malware analysis. So it's almost like there
was a lot there.
Environment to run the macros or attempt to parse out the macros without having to buy Microsoft Office. So let's point this at our file. And let's see what we got.
Okay, so you got the same errors that I got.
It keeps saying, what is this? The
there's no
thing. I think that was also in the
Uno tools. Interesting. Okay.
So that's not going to work, but we don't really need that bit because Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I was looking in the log output and I wasn't finding it because it's not there. But what will happen is at the end of that log output, there will be an artifacts folder created.
That's the artifacts
In
folder
this
he's talking
particular
about.
Artifacts folder, there was an embedded, oops, let me ls again.
And
There was an
CD.
embedded executable. We can see that if we run file on it. It's a 32-bit executable for
ls.
Well, that's cool.
Okay, yeah, so there's the pe.bin, right? So in this case, we want a 7-zip
and then we'll
a embedded
and pass it back over to our
pe0.bin.
Again, be very, very careful moving things from.
Wait. Okay, let me. Okay, oh, zip. Okay, so pe zip, and then. Did I spell it wrong? No, okay, embedded pe bin, and then p infected is the password. All right, so there we go. Snake monkey. Oh, viper monkey. Yes, snake monkey. Anyway, so there you go. So I have a zip file. Now, I'm going to gently go in here, take this file, copy, go back to my VBox shared folders. I'm going to put this in the zipped malware folder. Very gently. I mean, it's like hot potato, y'all. It's like hot potato. Obviously, I'm not, blow it up on my Windows box, but we'll have that pop up. And then we can go back in to our zipped malware location, and you see embedded pe.zip. I'll just copy that to the desktop. Now I will do the proper thing. And I will turn off my shared folder because I don't want to get infected. So I disconnect that. Keep editing. There we go. All right, so that went away. If I go back in, hit Windows E, the directory is gone. So, all right, and then open. Copy that to the desktop. Now, Digital Warhead, to your point, it doesn't give you the ability to make zips with passwords, but it will prompt you for the password. So infected is DOS password. Here we go. And now we are copying evil shite to our. Yeah, me too. You'd think, well, they'd want a fully functional, and maybe you can do it through. Maybe you can, run, zip. Oops, why can't you type? Nope. Unzip. Nope. WinZip. Okay, I was gonna say I don't think they would have put WinZip in there. Yeah, I don't know what the exe command, or maybe it's zip exe. Yeah. Anyway, we'll find out later. All right, so this is the doc file originally. This is the embedded bin file. So you're going to change the bin file. He's going to talk about that in a second. You're going to change the bin file to exe. And yes, I'm going to do that. So a bin file is just binary. So exe is just an executable for that binary. And we're going to copy things over. And then I'm going to turn on process monitor.
From VM space to shared folder space.
Right.
Always make sure it's zipped up nicely.
We'll have our filter set up.
Once we get that exe back here,
for
we can treat it just like we treated
anything process start is after this time, add, apply.
This is actually a good opportunity to
and then
detected easy. Or
right, detected easy.
We can pull it in over
Okay,
here.
so we'll use detected easy.
And detected
which is located. Oh, it's not detected easy, it's DNS spy. No, it's not DNS spy. Which one is he?
Easy lets us know that it is in over detected easy or die.
Yeah, where's DE?
We can pull it in over here.
Oh, there it is. because I'm an idiot. There it was right there.
Detected Easy lets us know that it is in fact a .NET executable binary format. Very cool. If since we already know it's a .NET executable, we could just click the easy button, pull it into DN.
There you go. You see the .NET.
Reverse engineering.
Oh, okay. Then you can run DN Spy.
See, oh, car race game. Interesting. I'm sure this is actually a car race game and not.
And then open.
Completely malicious. But yeah, we could dig into this in DN Spy and see what it does. But instead of doing.
Oh, it actually says car. I wonder. It says file descriptions of car race game, so you didn't have to open it in DN Spy to find out that was what it was. Interesting. So PE0 car race game program win. Copyright 2018-2022. .NET framework. PE. So here's DOS headers. All right, so before I get too far into this, what I'm going to do is start capturing, not capture PyPy. I need, where's it? Not process monitor. I've already got that one running, right? Yes, I have process monitor running. I have Wireshark running. Hey, Jeff, what's up? I already have Wireshark running. Oh, and to people who are watching the last stream and going like, why didn't Wireshark work? I don't know. I rebooted everything and started it up again, and then it just worked. So I don't know how Wireshark decided to not work properly. There it is, process spawn control. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. It is process monitor. Answer the question, but if you can, yeah, in Windows natively, yeah. Yep. Well, they'll get there one day. I mean, I lived in a time before Windows actually had zip utility where you had to install some kind of zip utility to unzip files. So they'll get there eventually. They'll, or SSH was another one. It was like, I didn't have SSH growing up as a kid. You young punks these days have it easy with your fancy, I thought okay, I know I had it here somewhere. I'm still of the opinion that they're going to put Windows and make it open source.
Up our typical suite of tools. I'm not going to start Command Watcher. Or do I want to start Command Watcher?
Well, let's process spawn control.
No, I think for now.
Did I lose process spawn control?
To start.
Oh, there it is.
INetSim. Monitor for anything.
Oh yeah, I need to.
I'm going to start System Informer. Let's do procmon to monitor anything going on. And what do I
There we go.
call this thing? Let's put a filter for that file name. And let's lastly do, we could do Wireshark as well.
Yep, did Wireshark.
Put
Wireshark's on.
I feel like there's one more thing. Oh, process spawn control. That's what we're going to do.
Yep, process spawn control.
And let's run this thing and see what happens.
Okay.
Right away, we're getting some stuff. Let's go ahead and allow it to run. And you can see, even though we haven't even run the file yet, there's a lot of loading of libraries and other registry stuff going on. So
sometimes process monitor.
Noisy. I'm going to clear that out so that we can make room for all the stuff it's going to do once it actually starts running. And right away.
Actually, that's not what I wanted. Where the?
Let's see. Yeah, we see .NET libraries, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm going to filter this just on operation contains.
Okay, so we're doing it right there.
A very
just
good one, although in this case, I don't see it writing anything. Make sure I put that in right. Yeah, let's go ahead and remove it. Apply OK. So we're not seeing anything written to disk yet. We do see.
That's what I wanted, procmon.
Quite a bit of registry activity.
Procmon's already monitoring the system.
For Windows Defender, which is always
Command Watcher. That's what I was thinking of. All right. I don't seem to have that one on my desktop for whatever reason, so. There we go. And start. All right, so that's what I was looking for. Command Watcher. All right, so we're gonna run this. And what we see already is search protocol host. So we're going to resume the process, search filter host, exe. So something's running searches, lab user P.
Right. Well, since Command Watcher and Process Spawn Control keep fighting with each other, and again, I just looked up on the Caho security site. I see that they uploaded.
All right, so far so good.
The update to
version. We don't have anything running.
Moved the manual mode where you could just let it run, but they don't explain anything about why they made that decision.
And turn off DN spy and all those things.
I don't think there's a way anymore to.
Oops. There we go.
Auto accept all these prompts. So regardless, we're just keep.
All right, so
we will keep Command Watcher open. We'll keep Process Spawn Control.
We're getting something on, looks like port 8080, going to 63482 and back.
But let's go ahead and just run one or the other. This time we'll run Command Watcher.
Right.
Let all this stuff run and just monitor.
Okay, so there's that, pe.exe.
I'm not too interested in any of these yet. I'm really looking for...
Okay, so there's something that loaded itself into temp.bat. There's a con host, right? Connection host, timeout 3. Okay. Interesting. Windows drivers. Okay, so notice the O instead of the 0 instead of the O in app data roaming. So if we'd had some foresight, we might have had capture PyPy grabbing anything from Windows users, lab users. So maybe we'll analyze it this time and then we'll kill everything and start over and then go, okay, we noticed app data roaming. We've noticed, you know, in the temp folder, we noticed these. So you might run multiple copies of capture PyPy on those folders to grab these artifacts like Windows drivers.exe. Again, that's what I'm assuming.
To me and says, hey, this is writing a file somewhere or trying to start a different process or adjusting something that it shouldn't be touching really. So let's let that run for a minute and just see if anything else happens.
Okay.
In the meantime, again, we could be clicking in here.
Let's go see what we got going on here. So yeah, we have Windows drivers, we have timeout.exe and the syswow64, which is interesting.
And let's set it to
so you have conhost also was ran. Let me go see what.
And we could be looking at some of this. And look at this. Hold on. This is unrelated.
That's really weird. I don't know why we're not getting anything from Process Monitor.
So it might
do I have any? What filters do I have on here? The only filter I had was the one telling it to cancel anything that wasn't related there.
Which again, we could capture that.
Okay.
With capture Pi, but since it's
right. So he just said that you can just go into capture Pi.
Open.
Right. Tempcade.
Starting a Windows driver.exe.
Right. We saw that one, the Windows driver.exe.
And if we had looked in there first and filtered by writes, we could see that it did indeed write both the batch file and Windows drivers.exe.
Okay.
Just based on that file.
I just turned off Process Monitor.
Great.
That's okay. Yeah, that needs to run. That needs to run. That needs to run. Consent.exe. Okay. Yeah, procmon. Yes, resume.
I'm now going to focus on
what's
going on with Windows, whatever it was called.
I see something called NB Dante. Looking for something called 10.10.10.7, which is interesting. It's also making a connection out. Looks like to some 194.5.97.41.
Drivers, there it is. So we can bring that into Detected Easy.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so there's definitely something making a call out to command and control or something like that to potentially ask for, you know, additional information. Let me see.
Once we start running it, but first I just drop it in here.
This looks like there's much in the way of that I can understand because it's speaking in its own language.
.net rather executable. Very good to know.
Okay.
Let's go back to Command Watcher and let it rip. There it is right there.
Oh,
Again,
right. Resume.
if for some reason that wasn't on disk somewhere, we could also drop it out with a quick call to psiv.pid or /pid
Right.
2080, which would dump it to disk for us on our desktop and any other suspicious regions.
Well, that's helpful, yeah.
Which was the executable itself, probably.
Total suspicious one.
Actually, a DLL that it found.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I'm surprised it didn't pick up on the actual process, but maybe it's because it wasn't. It's probably because it wasn't running in memory and it was on disk. Because, yeah, that makes sense. PECIV is made for detecting if there's an executable running in memory and a memory process of a different executable. And since this one's running on disk, it's not quite the use case for PECIV. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But it makes sense to me why PECIV is not dumping it, because we already have it on disk. So I just saw another call out to Windows drivers. I don't see too much.
Oh, I know why. Okay. The one thing I didn't add was a process name, and then it was embedded. .exe. There we go. Apply. So hopefully that'll pop up again at some point.
Rockmon, which tells me I probably messed up the name. Windows. Let me just
drivers.exe.
I should see at least some. Oh, it's because I'm filtering on write still. That's why. So
I wasn't filtering on write. I still haven't seen anything yet.
So now we can see a bunch more other stuff. We can see Windows driver starts up here. I see it touching a bunch of Defender stuff, so probably looking to see if
something's trying
to maybe it's trying to disable it. I wouldn't know until I went through all of these different logs and took a deeper look, but we can at least see that. What else? Different policy, a lot of Defender stuff.
Right. Probably trying to turn off Defender or making it so that it's able to slip past Defender.
Some registry keys.
Registry, no, yep.
I'd have to go through and look them up. What else? Anything else stick out here as interesting? It's creating another process of Windows drivers.exe itself, basically.
Right.
I don't see any.
It seems to be cyclical like the other ones. I'm starting to see a pattern here with Jeff with his cyclical malware, so that way we always see things coming. Which is great, because then we know we're expecting it and the same stuff will happen again and we can identify that, which is a great learning tool.
This column right here in operation to see if anything else sticks out. I'm actually going to close. This is Google Updater running in the background. I'm actually going to close or stop.
Yeah, I had Microsoft Edge update trying to.
Getting a little sick of clicking through those pop-ups. Let's see, what else?
Interesting, it's kind of done, isn't it? So, I mean, it's probably still trying to ping out to the IP address. Looks like, yeah, it's still trying to ping out to 194.5.9741 on port 8808, which is probably another TCP/IP. Yeah, it's the same message every time. So it's probably saying like, "Hi, there's a slight change. It's a slight change. You have one of that looks like that value changes."
First of all, lots of cryptography entries, which is interesting. Maybe some encrypted data stuff going on.
Yep.
More importantly,
yeah, that value seems to change between all of them. So there's a slight change, like maybe that's like I'm trying. This is 5th try. This is 7th try. This is 8th try.
07? Yeah, port 7707. So there's a couple things we can get information. Number one, I'm going to start up Wireshark, see if we can capture it live.
I might be a little ahead of the game here on the Wireshark bits.
String search.
Oh, see, there's another whole mess of things going through there.
7707.
Do System Informer.
And sometimes, just looking in the region where this is, there's actually a few ports listed here. We might look.
Here's Windows drivers.
And see some interesting strings. Now, in this case, I don't see anything yet. I could look at some of these as well.
Right.
But again, just another tool in your toolkit that you can look through some of these memory regions.
Oh, I saw.
Out in the same region.
.NET framework.
That looks suspicious. But since we don't, let's do this. Let's go back to Wireshark.
Okay.
One thing is that we do need to go back to inetsim, just
Right.
like we did last time, and start that dummy port on 7707. But before we do that, let's take a look in here to see if there's any cool DNS entries that are not Microsoft.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a good idea. Okay, FBI. You are a rat bastard. Okay. This is why we can't have nice things. There we go. Oh. There we go. So we have WPAT Inferno. Yep, here's the one IP address we saw, and then here's another one. Oh no, that's and DNS records are backwards, right? They're read first in, so it would be 10.10.10.3 instead of 3.10.10.10. So so yeah, this is why this is in reverse here. So this would be 194.5.97.41 instead of 41.97.5.194. Their pointer records are in reverse. One of these days, I'll be able to ask the father of DNS, who I may have access to, about that. Like, what the hell were you people thinking?
I don't see anything that is not a Microsoft or Google thing, and that might be because it's not in that port. So let's go to our configuration.
Okay, so I was barking up the wrong tree with this IP address. Okay, so that, okay.
Let's change this to, oh, you know what? I should have caught myself with this. I need to change that back to the default port. That might be a reason we're not seeing anything, but I think more likely it's because we don't have it listening on 7707. So let's try that.
7707.
And it may not be trying to resolve any domain as well. If it has an IP address hard-coded in there,
there we go.
It may not be trying to do any DNS call out at all. And we do see some of these other ports coming in. So we see 5200, 8808 as well. So it might be trying multiple ports, which is really cool. You can see that in real time. So let's see if it goes back to using, maybe instead of waiting for it, we'll just wait. And I just noticed it is using an IP address because in Wireshark we're seeing a 194 address, which is nothing.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't wrong.
So
okay, good.
5200 instead. I'm doing this on my other monitor. I'm just setting the dummy bind port to 5200, rerunning, and let's see what happens. Now we're listening on there. We'll see if it actually reaches out or if it's going to switch ports again right after I do that, which would be.
What happened here?
Also, we're waiting for that. Another thing worth mentioning.
Duplicate option in dummy port. Reverse allows you to use wildcards on the CLI.
If we go down here, right here, you can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll actually show you that same IP address right there at 5200. So that's really cool. The other thing is that since
we already have, do we already have 8808? I don't know if we did or not. Let me go see.
To 194.5.97.41. We may not see.
Yeah, what Jeff said. Thank you, Walt.
It's reaching out not through our gateway, but through directly to an IP, which is interesting. There we go. You know what it was? Is I forgot to rerun this command, which we did in the first part, but I think you actually have to run it. I don't know if I just didn't get it on the snapshot or if you have to run it every time.
What's that?
But you have to run accept all IPs on your interface over in Linux, which is, for me, this interface. And that seems to have let us now finally see some traffic to that port.
Okay.
Again, there's not much that's plain English to be
wait, let me go back. Okay, so accept all IPs. start. I think you must have done that already because it seems to be working for you. Create option dummy bind port in configuration file. I see what you mean. So I can't have a duplicate option for dummy bind. Hey, Digital Wire. All right, take off, man. Appreciate you coming by. Thanks, D-Dubs. Do you have to do per? It's really weird why you can't have multiple ports. Or is it you just use a comma or something? Dummy bind port like a comma or something. All right, let me. All right, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so, oh, looks like I have an 8808 in here. Weird, I've got two of them. So maybe that was it. Hold on, let me go back in. Oh, okay, 8808 is the new hotness. All right, let me see which one was it trying to grab in 5200. You know, let's do 5200 first. There we go. And let's see what happens when we, all right, so 5200 hasn't changed. It's 5200 is right there.
Keys on your interface over in Remnix, which is free, this interface. And that seems to have let us now finally see some traffic to that port. And again, there's not much that's plain English to be seen here, but it is good that we are now seeing a back and forth conversation.
Same thing as,
and again, we know that it's not going to a domain this time, but rather to,
looks like I do need to
an IP address. So that's cool. We got some networking information out of it. Again, we could go into System Informer and we could do something like this to get the same information of,
oh, there we go.
Make a little regular expression to look for something that looks like an IP.
200.
Something like 0 through 9 plus period 0 through 9 plus period 0 through 9 plus. It's very brutish kind of pattern, but it works. So yeah, you get lots of version numbers, but you also get that IP address right there, as well as localhost. But that's another way of just showing you there are multiple ways to get all this information, this detection information, from different tools. So it's nice to have options. All right, next thing we're going to try is, we tried this on the initial exe that we ran, but we haven't tried it on Windows drivers.exe yet. Let's do.
So I'm learning a lot. I hate to stop us at this point, but I smell dinner and I have a feeling I'm going to be needing to go downstairs and do that. I'll probably pick this up. I want to pick this up on Friday, but I'm not guaranteeing. We're going to be heading out to Texas, so I may end up being packing or what have you because of the long holiday. And honestly, I don't know how many of you will be here on Friday. So, but I'm going to keep playing with this later after dinner. And also, I'm going to go and see if there's a way to add multiple dummy ports to iNetSim, which it would seem like that they would want to do that, or you just have to go in and edit like the list of IP addresses that are already there. So, but yeah, go check out Jeff's channel. This is the video, just in case y'all want to go check that out. That will drop us right off where we're gonna, play with psiv and dnspy and all that for the exe files. Looks like we got some more activity still going on. Very good, very good. Also, remember to restore your images in VirtualBox, because you don't have to do that in app host registration verifier. Yeah. Anyway, let's go see who's online, and we will raid them if at all possible. I think it's a lot of drinking from the fire hose. So the hours that I've spent on this is, indicative of the amount of time that I've spent with this. Cyber software engineers. Oh, ending with Allie. Okay. All right. Yeah, no problem, Jeff. Let's see if we can. All right, we're going to go ending with Allie. We're going to go and learn cybersecurity with her, and they're starting soon. So yeah, go and check them out. And I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. And if I don't see you before the end of the week, have a good holiday weekend in the U.S. and Canada on Monday, and enjoy that 3-day work weekend and the short weekend or work week afterwards. So, all right, take care, y'all. Have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Bye.